I know what you want to ask me. D, are you seriously telling me that 958 anime episodes, 1001 chapters, and 14 movies are worth getting into? Yes. Yes, I am. One Piece was created by Eiichiro Oda in 1997. He originally thought it would take him around 5 years to finish the story, but in 24 years, it's expanded into this epic tale about adventure and freedom and justice, and it's all about pirates. He usually writes it as something that his 15-year-old self might enjoy because he's always loved pirates ever since he was little. He usually sleeps only 4 hours a night because One Piece is pretty much a one-man show. Oda loves drawing, and he really doesn't want too many assistants in there because he has this story he wants to tell, and he wants to make sure that he tells it right. He even listens to curated playlists while he's figuring out story arcs or trying to understand different story beats that he's creating. While he has had the ending or the last scene of One Piece planned since the very beginning, the story arcs and the islands that the crew visits in between, he figures out along the way. Right now, we are in the land of Wano in the manga, and Oda really wants people to hop in because there's so many secrets that are going to be revealed in this arc, including what the One Piece might be. So I'm here to encourage you to hop on. But if you're not ready to come aboard just yet, I have 10 really good reasons why you need to drop everything and watch One Piece before Oda brings us home to the conclusion of this epic adventure. Come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams. Together we can find everything that we're looking for. One Piece! Reason number 1 is the world building. One Piece has got one of the biggest worlds that I can actually think of in an anime. You not only understand how the world works, but you're able to really recognize, okay, now we're on the Grand Line, which is essentially the equator of the planet that the One Piece world resides on. And then you've got the Red Line, which separates it into 4 quadrants. And then those 4 quadrants are the North Blue, the East Blue, the South Blue, the West Blue. And you're able to see the different personalities of the people that come from these distinct seas. Within the world, there's also pirates, of course, since this is based on the golden age of pirates, and Oda's loved pirates ever since he was little. You've also got the Marines and the world government and the revolutionaries. All of these different factions relate to one another, build off one another, there are relationships between them, and they provide compelling story arcs time after time after time. As One Piece goes on, there's even more elements that get revealed to you. There's the poneglyphs, the Void Century, hidden motivations of characters. There's even legendary islands and treasures, and all of this causes you to become more and more invested in the world that our characters live in. Building off of my first reason is number 2, hard magic systems. Now, hard versus soft magic systems was first introduced by Brandon Sanderson in his first law of magic. Soft magic systems don't have explicit rules, so the audience doesn't necessarily understand the limitations of the magic or how it works. Plus, the magic can't really be used to resolve any major plot points. Hard magic systems, on the other hand, do have explicit rules. We can understand exactly how the system of magic works within the world, and the magic can be used to resolve plot points. Soft magic systems include Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and Lord of the Rings, whereas hard magic systems include Death Note, Fullmetal Alchemist, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, systems can actually exist on a spectrum, and they can change as the story evolves. Harry Potter, for example, is like right in the middle. There are rules, but you don't necessarily understand the limitations of them, and sometimes the characters can do things that don't really get explained very well. And I think One Piece falls more on the hard magic system, but once a different element gets introduced later on into the story, Haki, then you could probably argue that it sort of shifts on that spectrum between hard and soft. The hard magic system of One Piece can really be boiled down to the devil fruit system. Now, one person can have 1 devil fruit. If you have 2, then your body would explode. Once Once you consume a devil fruit and obtain its power, you can no longer swim because the sea kind of hates you, and if you're touched by any seawater element, you get severely weakened. This is a way to keep non-devil fruit users still relevant because they do have a sort of kryptonite to use against these immensely strong devil fruit powers. Devil fruits can actually be divided into 3 main categories. You've got Paramecia fruits, Logia fruits, and Zoan fruits. Paramecia fruits grant the user superhuman abilities that allow them to control their body in unique ways, control their environment, or produce a substance. Logia fruits transform the user's body into one natural element that they can create or control at will. Zoan fruits allow the user to transform into another species, or have an in-between phase that is interspecies between the species that the user is and the species that the fruit is. Another item that really helps to flesh out the magic system within One Piece is the log pose. A log pose is a necessity if you're trying to traverse the Grand Line. The reason being that each island within the Grand Line has its own unique magnetic waves that it emits, and the log pose will hone in on one island's magnetic wave, and then you visit that island, and then after a certain amount of time passes, the log pose resets and points you to the next island on your path. There are even other versions of the log pose that get introduced as the story goes on. The third reason why you should watch One Piece is the adventure. It is so heartwarming and motivating, and you feel like you're a member of the crew each step along the way, be it at Romance Dawn, or Logtown, or Arlong Park, or Impel Down, or Marineford. You're there with the crew through every battle, every victory, every failure. You're a member instead of just being a fly on the wall. Plus, One Piece is pretty much appropriate for all ages, although I would say more towards young adults because One Piece doesn't shy away from any of the brutality or severity of the topics it chooses to approach within each story arc. While One Piece might feel like a slow train to start, once you reach Arlong Park, I would say that the pace really starts to pick up and doesn't ever stop. So give it a few dozen episodes to really get into it. I'd say that if you reach Alabasta and you're still not in the groove of One Piece, then this might not be the story for you. Personally, I liked One Piece from the very first episode, but if that's not you, I totally get it. I even have the nostalgia filter going on. I watched One Piece ever since I was a little kid. Although back then it was the 4Kids one, which was much different. I'll link a video down below by Red Bard, who has an amazing comparison between what One Piece was meant to be and what 4Kids did to it. Reason number 4 are endearing characters that you just want to love. Every member of the Straw Hat crew has their own dreams, personalities, quirks, and you just fall in love with them. My personal favorites are Luffy and Chopper. Chopper is so cute. I cannot get over him. Every time he's on screen, I just giggle. There are unique side characters, and if you fall in love with a side character you meet in one arc, you can pretty much bet that they're going to come back in some way, shape, or form. This goes back to the world building. As you fall in love with these side characters, each one fleshed out and whole, you really understand that the world doesn't just fall on the Straw Hat's shoulders. There's so much more going on behind the scenes. Something that I really like is that the Straw Hats aren't strong just because of their power, but because of their connections to the world and the islands that they visit. There are insane villains in One Piece too. Each villain so much stronger than the last, using their devil fruit powers in exciting ways that really counter our Straw Hats' powers. You can trust that with every story arc, there's going to be a pretty unique villain that our friends have to conquer. Another thing that I really enjoy is that this world is so massive and expansive that there's a character for everyone to relate to. There's characters of all different identities, personalities, backstories, so I can guarantee before long you're going to have a brand new favorite at the top of your list. Reason number 5 are the battles! I love the battles in One Piece. You would think that a protagonist being made of rubber wouldn't be that interesting, but believe me, it is. Luffy delivers on so many different fronts, but so do those villains that I mentioned earlier. We get to see each character in the crew and each villain get stronger as the story goes on. There's so many different creative fruits, there's a new one around every corner, and the ways that each character learns to use their devil fruit powers evolves over time. There are some really strong people that our crew has to fight against, and since One Piece isn't afraid to make our characters lose, and lose big, you're there with them every single battle. You're a member of the Straw Hats, rooting for them, cheering them on, feeling so excited when they come up with an idea mid-battle, and just hoping beyond all hope that they succeed. But there's no guarantee in how any battle will go. That's what keeps us on the edge of our seat every single time. Reason number 6 why you should watch One Piece are the themes. Oda covers so many different topics within his 1001 chapters that there are way too many for me to name alone. So, Brock and I are going to have a little competition. We're going to see who can name the most themes within 30 seconds. Here we go. Okay, start the timer. All right, freedom. What is freedom? What does freedom mean to us? What is justice? Who gets to determine what justice is? Governmental overreach, police brutality, slavery. Who gets to choose our independence? Legend. It's our legacies. Who gets to determine our legacies? What is destiny? Does fate determine it? What is free will? Are we predestined to determine our own fates, or is there something that we get to decide on our own? Friendship. The power of one's love. Okay, my time's up. I don't think I did too well, but we'll see how Brock does.
All right, D, start the time. Okay, yeah, freedom, slavery, justice, the police, what is a criminal, you know, with the pirates, class struggles, rich versus poor, violence, is it good, is it bad, family, you know, your fathers and stuff, and what is family? Can you adopt a family, or is it what you're born with? More is, oh god, I want to say, friendship. That was 30 seconds. All right, well, I'll let D take it from here.
As you can tell, One Piece has a lot of different themes, and I think everyone will have at least one that they can resonate with really well. Reason number 7 why you should watch One Piece is that it's an underdog story, and everyone loves an underdog. Luffy is the exact kind of hero that you want to root for. His optimism, his laughter, all of it is so contagious that every time he's on screen, you really understand why every person who meets Luffy connects with him in some way and wants to give their all in supporting him in his quest to become the Pirate King. When a character dies or we lose in battle, Luffy gains another scar, whether physically or emotionally. And unlike other shows, such as Dragon Ball Z, these deaths are permanent, and they weigh heavy on our hearts. And just as Luffy suffers and mourns, we suffer and mourn with him. But he grows from that experience, from that grief, and we grow alongside him. At the end of it all, what we want is to see Luffy become the king of the pirates, standing proudly on his ship with all of his friends behind him. If he doesn't, I'm going to be really sad.
All around me are familiar faces.
Reason number 8 why you should watch One Piece is the subversion of expectations within each arc. If you can seriously tell me that as you watch an arc, without being spoiled beforehand, that you can guess where it goes, you're a genius. Like, you should write your own manga, create your own story. You will be the author of the next great American novel, because there is no way, at least for me, to know where Oda takes these characters. Maybe that goes back to the fact that he knows the ending of One Piece, but he doesn't know how he's going to get there. So he makes each story arc as he goes along, working himself to the bone and pushing himself to his limit so that he's able to come up with really creative ideas, going back to him sleeping only 4 hours a day. But the twists, the turns, the plot thickens at every corner, my friends. Reason number 9 why you should watch One Piece is the style. Not only the animation style and the art style, but the music. They've got over 20 different openings, each one super catchy. You might have heard Brock and I sing a little tidbit from We Are, which is our personal favorite. It is a classic. While some people might not like Oda's art style, I personally love it. It's illustrative, right? It's not so confined by realism, and there's a time and place for realistic art and realistic manga, but I think Oda's illustrative style gives him so much more freedom. It gives him the ability to allow his creativity to take full force on the page. His imagination isn't limited by realistic portrayals, and we're able to see exactly what he wants his characters to look like. The animation then capitalizes on this expressive, free-flowing, creative nature of the One Piece style, and the animation just gets better and better and better as the show goes on. If you're starting One Piece for the first time, I do want you to know that the first 200 or so episodes are in the 4:3 ratio, and then at episode 207, it switches over to full HD. Trust me, the animation improves episode after episode, and soon you'll grow to love the iconic style of One Piece. My 10th and final reason why you should watch One Piece is that it's a show that makes you want to live for freedom, for the journey, for the joy of life, to live for your dreams, for your friends, for yourself, for your family, to live for adventure. It reminds you to keep going, to re-find your will to live if you lose it along the way. It's my favorite part of One Piece, and that's why I keep going back.
Oh, you guys, you're so awesome! I love you!
Now that we're at the end of my list, let me know down below in the comments if I've convinced you to start One Piece. If you're already a fan, let me know if you agree with me or if there's another reason why the show has won you over. I'm excited for you to start this journey, to start this great pirate adventure. And remember,
和の国で待ってる。必ず来い。
Thanks so much for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and ring that bell if you want to be notified every time we upload. Next up is a co-op critique on One Piece up until the time skip, and Brock and I are super excited to share all of our thoughts with you. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. By the way, I'm gonna become the king of the pirates! Is that a good Luffy?
Excellent. I think that's a wrap.
Cool.
That's a wrap, people.